Some of you might like to know a little bit more about our drummer.
Now going back to 40 years of Chick Webb.
Is drummer right? Is it okay to say drummer?
Pounding his pulsing beat into the hearts of all America.
You motherfuckers are fucking all over this joint.
You do your kind of drumming, and I'll do my kind of drumming.
I have no more time. You don't know what I love again.
The only things I care about in this goddamn life are me and my drums and you.
The official explanation was he choked on vomit.
You suppose maybe I could put the drums in your place and sort of drop in once in a while?
Now back to Gene Krupa's syncopated style shortly.
Get up there behind those drums, lean back, close your eyes, get right in the groove there, give it a good steady beat.
I got blisters on my fingers!
I'd hit that.
Do you mind if we just jump in?
Go right ahead, man. I'm ready.
Cool.
Let's do this.
All right. I'm in Thousand Oaks, California.
Scenic. Downtown Thousand. I don't know.
With Lenny Castro.
Yes, sir.
We are, as I was saying, Thousand Drummer Oaks.
Yeah.
A lot of drummers out here for those who don't know.
Yeah, we were just saying how I can throw a stone to just about anybody around here. You know, JR, Kurt Biscara, Greg Bissonnet. There's a whole bunch of people. Joe Skinny, Joe Picaro's over there. Right. So it's a big family out here.
How did you end up out here? Did someone hip you to it, or were you like one of the early guys out here?
No. I've been out here 6 years now. 6 years. I was living in Ventura actually before here, and we decided to move a little bit closer. I'd been living out there for a while, but decided, that I need to get closer. My second wife, my first wife passed away in '98, so that's where I raised my kids there. So I remarried, and then we decided to move a little bit closer to the LA area, for various reasons, Asian markets and stuff like that. There's nothing out there in Ventura. It's just a couple of hamburger places and some pizza.
Yeah. But you ended up out there. How long ago was that?
I wound up in Ventura quite a while ago. That was around the time when I first started working with Stevie Nicks. Russ Kunkel got me in on that gig, and that's when around that time, me and my first wife wanted to get out of the valley because it was getting kind of crazy. So I went on the road and I came back and was living in Ventura all of a sudden. And it was nice. It was nice living out there. I really liked it. My kids are still living out there. So, nice. And then I progressively came here. This is as close as I want to get to the city at this point right now. Yeah. I'm done with the valley. This is actually a beautiful area.
It's like beautiful up here. We're on a deck and there's a great view and just another beautiful day.
Another beautiful day in LA after the rains. Everything's overgrowing now.
Yeah. Now you're a Bronx guy.
Actually Manhattan, but I did live in the Bronx for a long time.
Wait, hold on. You were born in Manhattan?
Yeah, I was born and raised in Manhattan basically, but I lived in the Bronx for a long time, up in the North Bronx. Up at Gun Hill Road in Decatur Avenue.
Gun Hill Road.
Gun Hill Road,
yeah.
Decatur Avenue. Yeah.
Sure.
That was in the days when I was going to music and art, when I was going to high school.
So you started off in Manhattan, like?
Yeah, I lived when I was younger. We lived in Manhattan, Alphabet City. We lived in Brooklyn and Flatbush and Newkirk for a while. And then eventually went back to, then we lived out in St. Thomas for a minute. And then that didn't work out. We lived in Puerto Rico, and that didn't work for a minute, so we came back to New York. Would you like some?
No, I'm good. Okay. What was this? Because was your dad looking for work?
Well, yeah, we were just looking for a better place and some better work and better situations, and it didn't really pan out that way. So eventually we came back to New York.
Okay.
And relocated, and eventually I had to start all over again, and then came back to Manhattan, and then worked our way up to the Bronx eventually.
Okay.
And that's where we were. Yeah, my parents were living for a long time. Now, Mom is my stepdad passed away a couple of years ago. And my mom is in Long Island, Freeport, Long Island right now. So I still have my mothers and sisters out there, brothers and sisters.
Get the New York connection going on.
Sure, of course. You kidding me? Because always the connection with New York. I mean,
So you ended up, you're talking Gun Hill Road. That was, you were in high school or something later on.
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah.
Now, do you think all that moving around, do you think that helped? In other words, what you ended up doing? I mean,
no, yes and no. I mean, I was going to be a musician no matter what, no matter where I was going to be. Didn't matter,
Yeah.
Because I had started playing when I was 3 years old.
Yeah.
That's when I first started. So it was a constant wherever I went. Didn't matter. When I went to Puerto Rico, I went to Puerto Rico and I kind of, soaked in the traditional music, the aguinaldos and the trios and the guitar quartets, and I got into my traditional music while I was there, of course. And then at St. Thomas, I got into the calypso music, the steel drums, and stuff like that. So I did. In that respect, sure, I did get that, but I could have got that in New York too.
You think so?
Yeah, they had, there was tons of Latin music in New York. There was tons of music, period.
Did you grow up with that? I mean, were you speaking Spanish in the house? Was that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you had to speak Spanish in the house,
right?
Especially when Grandma was around. Yeah,
right.
Grandma was not, she wasn't very, very well versed in English, and you had to speak in Spanish.
But were you someone growing up where, like, with your friends, did you want to speak English, or was it just a mix?
It was just an automatic thing, when you go to school, you speak English,
right?
And when you were home, you spoke Spanish.
Gotcha.
Actually, my parents, we spoke Spanglish.
Yep.
But it was the grandparents and that we really had to keep the Spanish going for them.
But you were around it from day one, as you said. You were just surrounded by the music.
I was surrounded by the music. I mean, being born and raised in New York, it was kind of hard not to.
Yep.
All kinds of music everywhere. And at that time, before it started getting bought up by the corporations and stuff like that, and
so you're going back to when radio was like 1 minute it would be Miles Davis, the next minute Zeppelin.
Yeah.
The next minute,
I go back as far as when I was younger, even like when I was really young, I used to listen to a lot of the Dick Ricardo Sugar, Symphony Sid. They were the two most popular radio shows on the weekends, and that was like we had, everybody was around the radio, and Mom and Dad were dancing, and I'd bust out my bongos and I'd play to whatever was coming out the radio I was playing to. And there was a lot of Latin jazz going on. There was a mixture of the jazz and Latin going on in New York, which was very, very cool. The George Shearings, that type of stuff. Where they mix the jazz with the Latin instrumentation and stuff like that. So radio was a big part. Radio was a major part in my upbringing. Not only that stuff, but the popular music, the regular radio stations, the pop. There were great radio stations in those days. That was part of the whole situation, was listening to the radio in those days.
And you were just into everything.
Everything.
There was never
everything. Yeah. My mom, not only did she like, her traditional Latin music, South Side and stuff like that, but she was into like really heavy traditional country western music.
Okay.
Really early stuff. Really nice stuff.
Where did that come from?
I never understood that. She says, I love that country western music. I said, really?
And she was a New Yorker.
Yeah, but she always my mom got into a lot of different things. My parents, cool. My dad and my mom turned me on to, they turned me on to the James Gang. When the James Gang first came out with their first album, my mom and dad were shopping in a department store, or S. Klein or May Company, whatever it was, and they would always go by the record department, and they heard this playing, and then my dad went up to the counter and said, "Who's this?" And they said it was a James Gang, and they bought the album and brought it to me, and I was like, "Whoa, who are these guys?"
Yeah.
So also a part of my education was my parents' library, their musical library, and what they listened to. They listen to a lot of jazz, a lot of Latin. They listen to a lot of Lord Buckley. I don't know if anybody is very hip to Lord Buckley, but Lord Buckley stories were my bedtime stories. Believe it or not, I would listen to that hip talk, telling stories about Gandhi and the Nas. And at the time, and when I was too young to really put it together, but later on as I got older, I said, "Oh, he's talking about this guy. Oh, he's talking about Einstein." And it was like an enlightenment, but that was just, due to my parents. My parents had an incredible library of music, vinyl,
Yeah.
So they were a large part of my upbringing musically also.
Now, when you're in Puerto Rico, are you studying with, guys? Is it that kind of situation, or are you just...
I wasn't studying with anybody. I was surviving in Puerto Rico, trying to survive, because all the island kids wanted to beat up the kid from New York. So I was constantly kind of fighting with those kids down there. I had an uncle who had what was it? A quartet, guitar quartet, and I would play some bongos and some timbales, and I play with that, But that was pretty much the extent of the music thing that was going on down there. I was just a kid from New York on an island, Puerto Rico, and I was a little bit like a fish out of water. It was a little difficult.
So it was rough.
It was a bit rough, man. I was the first time I saw an outhouse. I was like, no, I'm not going in there at 1 o'clock in the morning when I gotta do my thing. I'm not going there.
Yeah, but what was the choice?
Well, it's either that or you just have an accident and then pay for it in the morning.
Exactly.
But
so they singled you out. They really did. They were like, let's fuck with the kid from New York.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah. So
did you learn how to fight there?
Oh, I had to.
Yeah.
I had to.
Yeah.
I had no choice.
Big tradition of boxing, right?
Yeah. I guess, And then I went through the same thing at St. Thomas. There was the school bully who gave me a bloody nose, and of course, I ran to Dad. Dad, this guy, he says, well, don't come to me crying. Go back and beat him up. And so I had to go back and
take care of business,
equalize the situation, and I did.
But did you ever really click with that, or was the fighting thing always this sort of, you didn't really?
Nah, that was not really part of me. It was just like I said, a survivalist.
Just a survival thing.
Just trying to survive.
Just trying to get through. Yeah. So would you say that was a rough time too, St. Thomas?
It was a rough time for all of us.
Not really fond memories.
No, I mean the island was beautiful and everything like that, but very expensive to live.
Yeah, okay.
Very expensive to live. My dad had 2 jobs, and my mom was working also. It was rough.
Just a struggle.
Very, very
So this
rough.
is what you remember growing up, just everything being hard.
Yeah. But the family, the one constant was the family was tight. My family was always tight.
Yeah.
Very, very tight. And, when we figured out, when Mom and Dad figured out, well, it's not going to work here, Grandma sent us money for a ticket. We went back home and started all over again.
But that's the thing. Is there something to be said for having that background? Where again, like what scares you after that? You know what I'm trying to say? Like once you face that and seeing that kind of struggle,
coming back to New York was cool. I was like,
right?
I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with situations that I know.
That felt like home.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were all very happy to be back.
You were glad to be done with all that stuff.
Yeah. And then I kind of started really concentrating on music. I got back. I finished up elementary school when I got back, I remember, when I got back from Puerto Rico. And then from elementary school, I went to junior high school. And at junior high school was where I started to read and write, I was my first year in junior high school, and I was telling my mom, I heard the band, and I want to play with the senior guys. She says, well, go to the teacher and ask him. Tell him you want to. So that's what I did. I went to the office, and the gentleman, God bless him, Mr. Just, he's still around. He helped me a lot with my musical career. But I went to his office and says, hey, I play drums. I want to be in the senior band. I was like, really? So I did a little audition, and he says, well, you need a little bit of training, but you got something. And from there, I started getting into the reading and writing of stuff. He got me.
What were you playing at that point?
I was in a
thing?
snare drum. It was classical. I was actually playing drum set.
You were playing
and
set? Okay.
I was playing. I started on bongos.
Okay.
And then from bongos, I went to conga. And the congas, the skins were my natural thing, but I really wanted to play drums. I loved to play drums.
You wanted to play the kit.
Yeah, it was like Ringo was my man, and I wanted to be like.
So was that like your thing, like seeing Ed Sullivan, the whole thing? Was that
64 was a beautiful year. Ed Sullivan, I'll never forget that, man. I was like, oh man, that guy broke out the pencils, and But so I had a little drum set that I played. Jimi Hendrix was a major influence.
So Mitch Mitchell.
At that time in junior high school, I met this kid. There was this kid that I became kind of like his protector. He was, he was gay and he didn't know it. And it was at that time when, the gay thing was really accepted. And this kid got beat up quite a bit of times. So I kind of was his big brother.
And he was a musician? Is that what you're
saying?
saying?
He was just a kid in school.
Oh, okay.
But he introduced me to his brother. He said, you got to come over to my house and meet my brother. He's a drummer.
Oh, okay.
So I went out to his apartment, met his brother, went into his brother's room, and there was nothing but drum set in this room. He had this gigantic drum set in his little room in an apartment.
Now wait a minute. This sounds like we're going back before there were gigantic drum kits.
Oh yeah, it was the beginning of the giant drum sets.
Okay.
It was the beginning of them.
Okay.
And then Cobham came in later, and they started to reach out.
But was that the first drum kit that you had access to? Is that?
No, I had my own drum kit.
Do you remember what kind it was?
It was a Kent.
Oh yeah, Kent's.
White pearl. Kent.
Yeah.
My stepdad got it for me. And so, anyway, I met the guy's brother, and this kid, this guy, he was much older than us, maybe 3, 4, 5 years older. He said, "Hey kid, so you play drums?" Yeah. So he hit me to Hendrix. He hit me to the Experience album. Changed my life.
Yeah.
Changed my life.
Yeah.
I always wonder whatever happened to that kid, but his brother really just opened my eyes, and at least seeing that drum set was like, oh gosh. And then he sat down and he started playing. He had the record player with the headphones, and I was like, I gotta do that. So right away, I had to get my headphones, and my uncle gave me a record player. It was funny. It was a record player that was he got from. He was legally blind, so he got it from the blind people, and he said, "Yeah, take this." It's it was Braille and everything, but it was a good record player, and it had the headphone jack. Oh, God. But
So that's what you wanted to do. You wanted to be a kid player.
I wanted to be a kid player,
Yeah.
And I always kind of gravitated toward it, but I did learn later on that my baby was the congas and the bongos, the skins. That's where my heart was. But I loved playing drum set too.
I mean, that's what I was going to say. Was it a bit of an accident or not really when you look back, falling into being like more the percussion guy? Was it?
No, it wasn't an accident.
There's no accident.
No, I was meant to be a percussionist.
Okay, so you there was a moment, I want to be the kit guy, and then you just sort of, it pulled you.
Well, I pulled to the drums a little bit, but I never let go of the congas.
Okay.
Because I was actually doing gigs when I was 14, 15, 16. I was working, making money.
Right.
Doing gigs, little clubs locally. I was working with a guy named Johnny Colon, who was a trombone player turned keyboard player. I learned a lot on that gig. But I would do, we'll do local clubs, local dances, block parties, after hours gigs, at these after hours places that would come and go.
Now, what was that like? You're an underage kid back then. I mean, are you drinking alcohol on these gigs?
Not really. No, I wasn't drinking that. I wasn't drinking at all.
You weren't like a corrupted kid.
Not that much. That much.
You walked the line.
I started smoking a little bit of weed early.
Sure,
when I was 16, but. Nah, I wasn't really that interested. I was just there to play.
But the weed, that was a standard issue with the musician guys, right?
Of course.
That's just the way it
went. That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody was doing it.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'll check it out.
That probably seemed like nothing at all at that. Right.
Yeah, it didn't.
Right.
It didn't.
And it didn't interest you, that other stuff, because you had your shit together.
I was focused.
You were focused.
I was focused on
exactly.
music, and anything that kind of altered me too much, so that I couldn't play. That was like, nah, I'm not gonna.
You never had your time off the rails, so to speak.
Nah,
you really,
Nah.
But you saw enough of that.
I mean, I got close a couple of times if you're having a couple of too many, and then going, Jesus, I don't like this.
Right.
I'm not in control completely, so I would stay away from that kind of situation.
Sure.
But I never ever missed a gig because I was too stoned or too drunk, or I never missed a gig. Period. It's very, very. I have almost a perfect record.
Yeah. Yeah. You strike me as the kind of guy also who you didn't say no.
No, never.
You just said yes and what time and where.
Yeah. I couldn't. Even to this day, I find it hard to say no to people.
Sure.
Very, very hard.
Going back then, you're a young kid. I mean, did the gigs pay well then?
For a kid my age,
yeah.
you kidding me? I was making my own money.
That's what I'm saying.
I was able to tell my parents, listen, I'm making my own bread. I'll buy my own underwear. I'll buy my own glasses. I'll buy my own clothes. You spend the rest of the money on my sisters. I had 2 sisters.
Look at you.
So go ahead. I mean, actually, before I started making money doing the gigs, I was a paper boy.
Right.
Before that.
Yeah.
And I did the paper routes in New York.
What are you, up at 4 a.m.?
Oh God! Sunday's 3 a.m.
Yeah.
The Sunday Times was a murderous beast of a newspaper. That big.
Yeah.
So
give you elbow pains.
Oh my God, that was an adventure. Working the paper route, there was always, they used to hire junkies, just to get people to help them out. And we had this thing where we'd let a cat, who we obviously knew was a junkie, he'd be folding the papers, and then he'd stop, open the paper like he was reading it, and then look down, and then before you know it, he was nodding on the paper, and we'd all go, shh. We'd leave him there for a few minutes. Really got, and we go, hey man, don't fall asleep, man. Come on, go, okay. and he'd have print all
Ink
over his
all
face,
over, yeah.
and we wouldn't tell him. And we'd send him, okay, you got to deliver these papers. And he had print. We call that the mark. He had print all over his face. And then later on, they'd say, man, you guys didn't tell me, man. It's not cool. I said, well, you're not out. What are you going to do? Sorry.
That's your problem, boss.
Yeah, but, I was, I really wanted to help my parents out because, we weren't that well off. And once I got of age, it was like, I got to earn my own money. I got to help out.
Would that have been the last sort of straight job you had? Delivering?
Well, I had some other ones. I worked in a pharmacy
okay.
for a while, one of those big whaling pharmacies. Oh, I hated that job. I hated
just
that
like
one.
what, like the clerk back there?
Yeah, stock boy in a pharmacy, big pharmacy.
So this was the only kind of job you ever really had.
That was it. I think, what else? Did I do anything else? I think that's about it. Then, after a while, I just committed myself to music.
Right.
After a certain point.
Now, you ended up at Manus, is that right?
Yeah, that gentleman, the music teacher, Mr. Just from my junior high school, who I told you helped me out, he got me a scholarship to Manus College Prep Department, which was, wow, talk about an eye-opening experience, man. Hanging out at that college, it was very, very prestigious. Yeah. I mean, Juilliard was prestigious, but this was one of those small ones. It was full of these brainiac. It was just very, very cerebral. I mean, it was really amazing. Very
Did you
small
feel
college.
out of your element there?
No, I was. No, man, I was so at home. There. We would go Saturdays. We'd go to the school, which was on 74th Street in Lexington, right next. Tony Curtis used to live next door to it. We used to see him during lunch.
Hello, Lenny.
How you kids doing? I hope you're practicing.
All your kids.
What a beautiful guy. But yeah, we'd go to school on Saturdays. We'd have theory and year training and stuff on Saturdays. And then through the school, we also had private lessons. I had private lessons with Charlie Birch for Mallet, Sung Kwak, who was the conductor for the Joffrey Ballet, who's now a big conductor in Korea, South Korea. He was my snare drum interpretation teacher. I had some unbelievable teachers through this Manus College because of Mr. Just. He also helped me buy my first real professional drum set. After that Kent set, I wanted a Slingerland set, the red tiger stripe. Ooh. And he helped me buy the drum set through the school system to get a 50% discount.
Nice.
Oh man, I owe that man a lot.
Nice.
I owe him a lot.
I'm
still in touch with him. He's down in Florida. Hopefully taking care of his back. If you hear this.
What happened to that Slingerland kid?
Oh God, I wish I knew. I wish I knew, because I loved that set. How things disappear as you grow older.
Yes, they do.
And God knows whatever happened to it. I don't think it ever made it out here to LA. That I know. So
you were trained to do everything there, though. I mean, you were trained to conduct an orchestra there, right?
Well, Sung Kwak was a conductor, but what he taught me was how to interpret music. And to how to read music, interpret it into snare drum.
But that's what I'm saying. Were you only studying percussion and drums, or were you studying music theory and everything?
I was the whole shebang.
That's what I mean.
I was up to here in music.
Right.
5 days, especially when I got to high school, because I went to music and art high school. So Monday through Friday, I had not only my academics but my music courses in school, Monday through Friday. Then Saturdays was Manus College, and then Sundays was either a gig or, make some money. I was way deep into music from junior high school into high school. By the time I finished high school, I was like ready to go. I wanted to play.
Yeah,
I wanted to get out there.
And Manus did not last the full. Right, or you...
how many years was I there? I was there for a while. It was the prep department, so I think it was a 3-year scholarship.
Okay,
is what it was. And then when I finished high school, I didn't wind up going there to college. I made out applications to a lot of places, but
you just wanted to play.
I just wanted to play.
Yeah.
I wound up going to City College.
Yeah.
For a while. Hated that, and then I started working at Frank Hippolito's drum shop.
Oh yeah,
and that's where Melissa Manchester found me.
Frank Hippolito, wow.
Yeah, Frank. That was an experience working in that place. I didn't work there very long, but unbelievable memories.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody hung there. That was an education for me, just being there. And meeting all the drummers,
That was the spot.
hanging out with Papa Joe.
Yeah.
You know, meeting Elvin. Elvin used to give lessons upstairs. Norm Grossman. There were so many. Jim Chapin. So many. Any drummer who was a drummer who thought they were the shit was there.
Yeah.
Because that was a specialty shop.
Yeah.
And it was also a workshop too. They did custom jobs.
Yeah, they used to do the nesting kit. They were the first to do that one.
Right, and they were the ones that did the sprocket, which is now on the DW pedal.
Yes.
They used the Camco pedal, and they
oh.
used to convert that. Al Duffy and there was another cat. Those were the guys who came up with that idea.
They just
at
converted
that
the
shop.
Camco pedal.
Guys would bring them. Yeah, here. That was the, and I was like, man, this is way ahead of its time. Way ahead of its time. Because guys, you know, at that time, pedals had either the leather strap or a plastic thing. You know, it was really not very strong. It didn't really last too long. But when that sprocket with the chain came in, I don't think even Elvin would break everything but the sprocket. Elvin broke footboards, broke the frame. Elvin broke everything. He would come in with stacks of cymbals that were mauled, and Ippolito, Frank would just look at him. He'd put his glasses down and he'd go, "This fucking guy is crazy, man. What the hell's going on?" You know, and we'd take the pile and put it in, and we'd find some more cymbals to him. And occasionally I took them down. I delivered them to the Vanguard. He was playing there, and I got a chance to stay and watch him play a few times. You know?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to catch Elvin once in Boston, and I was sitting up close. I remember his Japanese wife teching. She set the kid up and broke it down.
Set him up.
I remember that.
Collect the money, everything.
I remember that.
Oh my God! She would say, "Don't make sure you don't drink." She says, "No, I'm not going to drink. I just want to see."
She was tough. Yeah.
Don't drink. Okay, you're a good boy. God bless her. She's still around. She's still alive.
Yeah.
I don't know where she's probably back in Japan.
Yeah, something
Keiko.
like that. Yeah, Keiko. That's right. Keiko.
I mean, she was tough as nails, but she had to deal.
Someone had to. Yeah.
She had to deal with the most skeevious elements, you know, club owners and promoters, and, you know. Yeah. And here she is, this little Japanese lady.
Yeah, but don't F with her.
Oh, no. Everybody was scared of her.
No, I remember this little thing, and she was setting it up. I was like...
I loved her to death. I would just go there and marvel at the way she would just set everything up, take care of him, take him to the set, and he would just sit down, move a few things, and then wham!
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I mean, I remember him hitting hard, but not that hard. Is that what you remember? Was he
very hard?
He hit that hard?
I tell you what, when I first started working at the drum shop, the first thing that they warned me about was when Elvin comes around, don't shake his hand. I'm going, what do you mean? I'm going to insult the guy? If he puts his hand out, it was just, well, take your chances. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? And then eventually Elvin came around and oh my God, that hand, his hands were 3 times the size of my hands. I got a pretty good size hand.
Yeah.
His were gigantic. Yeah. And he'd not only shake your hand, he would crunch it. Yeah. And I'd be like, oh.
That's a big dude.
He was big. I would listen to him giving lessons sometimes. I would sneak upstairs and he'd be giving a lesson. He'd be cussing those kids out, man. He'd be like, don't come around here. I'm prepared to play that shit.
Did you ever take a lesson?
No, I never took a lesson with him. No, never. Just being in that element.
Yeah.
Rubbed off.
It in, yeah.
You know, hanging with Papa Joe, watching him, you know, telling all those lies about he would, oh God, he would, the stories he would, him and Jim Chapin were constantly arguing about. One argument was who was the guy that took the low boy and extended it and started hitting and used it and made it into a hi-hat. And of course, Papa Joe always said it was him. You know, of course, his hi-hat work was supreme. You know, I would never argue with him.
No.
You know, but Chapin was like, wait a minute, man. Come on now. Come on, Papa Joe. What about Babe Dobbs? And what about this guy? You know, there were quite a lot of guys working at the same time. Who's to say who was the first guy to extend the shaft? And now the low boy's coming back. I think DW is now making. I wanted them to make one for a long time. I've always wanted a low boy because for my hybrid percussion thing, you know. And I've always had that idea to bring back the low boy. And just recently, I saw that DW is now making a low boy So I gotta grab one of those.
Who were the guys when you were at Ippolito's shop? Who were the besides like the jazz cats you mentioned? Who were like the pop rock guys in town?
Anybody?
No, I mean, who were the guys like of that time?
I met Denny Sywell there.
Denny Sywell, okay.
And he was at that time. I think he was still with Wings.
Right. Okay.
You know.
So we're like 1970.
Peter Criss, I met him there. I met Soupy Sales' son, who was a drummer, Hunt. I met him. He used to come in all the time.
I interviewed Hunt. He's on the show.
At the time when I first met him, he was so freaky, you know, with the hair. And Frank, you know, just, who is that guy? What's it? I said, that's Soupy Sales' son. He was fucking out of his mind. Look at him. Oh, he's dressed like a fucking... I was like, hey, come on, man. It's, you know, take it easy, Frank.
Yeah.
Frank was one of the older cats.
Yeah.
But Frank was lovely. Who else?
Well,
all around, anybody. There were guys who would come in from the cruise ships to load up, and some of those guys were great drummers.
I was curious, like who were like the New York session cats at that time? Like
just any. Oh my God!
I mean, we're going like Gad,
Schwartzberg.
We going back to.
You're going back to even before Gad came around, when he was still in the service. Because I was working there in the mid '70s, 73, 74.
Oh, you're saying okay? So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so Peter Criss was a big star.
Yeah.
But unrecognizable too, right?
Yeah, that was at the time when they first started putting the paint on.
I was gonna say
because I actually met those guys. They used to play locally in New York, and I used to see them in a couple of places out in Long Island before they did the makeup.
Oh, okay.
So I knew them before.
When they were Wicked Lester.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, they played at My Father's Mustache and a few other places that I remember.
Yeah.
And they still remember me. I mean, through the years, we've seen each other at concerts and stuff. Hey, Lenny, Stanley still remembers me. And I played on Peter Criss's solo album. Remember that one time where they all did solo albums? Yeah. Vinny Poncia got me in.
Vinny Poncia, there, that guy.
He produced it. He got me in on the. Love you, Vinny. Miss you. Hope I'm going to see you soon. Yeah, he's back out in Rhode Island.
Was Peter Criss just completely coked out of his mind during that period, like when the solo?
I don't remember seeing that much of him. He was pretty cool from what I remember.
Yeah.
He wasn't whacked out of his head.
No. Okay.
He was pretty cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all right, so 73, 74, you're there in the city doing that, and then you said someone found you. That
was Melissa.
Right.
Yeah, that was Melissa. She called up the place. And I was recently corrected. I thought it was Frank, but it was actually a guy named Joe Gallivan, who used to work there, who was a drummer. He was he was an avant-garde drummer. Oh, he did some really beautiful stuff, but way out there. Way out. Just, the No Time kind of freestyle jazz.
So before Motion? Paul
Motion? Yeah. Around that time when Paul was coming up at that time. Ahmad Jamal was, deep into it. So, what was I saying?
You were saying that Melissa found you?
Yeah, Melissa found me. I think Joe Gallivan was the one who got the number, who talked with Melissa. And then he gave me the number and said, here, you need to do this. Okay. You need to get the hell out of here.
Okay.
Here's an audition. And then I remembered when I was leaving, I finished cleaning up and everything like that. And Frank was like, hey, man, if you don't get the job, you can't come back and work here, so good luck. I was like, what? That's the nicest boot in the ass I ever... He was just basically telling me, you're done here.
Yeah.
You got to get the hell out of here.
Yeah.
It was a loving thing, man. Frank was cool. Frank, I'll tell you what, I saw Frank give money out of his pocket to help out drummer guys that were down and out, hey man, give me some money for my drum set. Or he took care of a lot of people in that town in New York in the music business, especially his fellow drummers and cats, man. He was a great guy. I owe him a lot. I learned a lot at that shop. I owe a lot to Tadashi, who worked there, and Joe and Norm Grossman, all those guys. They took me under their wing, man, and they treated me right. And I'll always have those memories, of Papa Joe and Elvin, arguing over a case of, Heineken. Yeah, it was great,
But that gig got you out of New York.
Yeah. So yeah, I went and I went and auditioned. I think the audition was down at the Cal Music Rehearsal Studios. I was so nervous. I remember I got there an hour early, and there was a coffee shop downstairs, and I was there having a coffee. And I remember Melissa came in, I remember seeing her, and I don't know if I said anything to her, but I knew it was her. And then I went upstairs eventually, and I was the first one to show up for the audition. So, and I went and I played and I sang a little bit. And the band was Cooker Lopresti, David Wilford, James Newton Howard. Was that the whole band? I think that was the whole band. Yeah. Did I forget some? I hope I didn't forget anybody. Oh, Kirk Bruner was the drummer. Kirk Bruner, who's still here in LA. And, I did the audition and everything like that. And thank God I was the first one there, because when I left, there were a few other guys already, kind of sitting there waiting, looking at each other, eyeing each other. And I was like, okay, you guys got it. See you later. Bye. And I think about 24 hours later, I got the call. And that was it.
And what are you, like 18, 19?
Yeah, 18, 19.
Yeah.
I think around 19 years old.
And it's just go hit
Yeah, Melissa remembers me. She says I was still wearing my high school jacket. I was her little pickle. Little pickle. So I went.
You hit the road?
Oh yeah, I hit the road like a beast. I was like, yeah, this is cool. Traveling and making money and partying and and playing music every now and then. No, I was just running like a crazy.
It felt like
man.
a real job. You got paid good, and you were just
job. It was, the word job was never in my vocabulary.
No.
You know what they say about that. When you love what you do, it's not even a job.
No.
It's not.
No.
And in fact, I've even corrected people. Well, what do you do? It's I don't go to work. I go to play.
Yes.
So, but yeah, it was.
And what, that ended you up out here? Is that how?
Yeah, because what happened was we did a few tours, and then one day I went over to Cooker's house to go hang his apartment, and he's packing up his stuff. He says, "Hey, Len, Melissa's looking for you. We're leaving." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" "Yeah, we're all going to LA. She's taking everybody. You got to go see her." He was on the east side. I ran across Central Park from the east side to the west side on foot. I remember I was sweating like a pig. Got to Melissa's apartment. "Missy, what's going on?" She says, "Oh, great, I've been looking for you. We're going to LA. I'm moving to LA." I'm like, "Oh, shit, no." She says, "You want to go?" I'm like, "You gonna take me?" She says, "Yeah, I'm taking everybody."
What does that mean? I'm putting you up?
Yeah, she put us up for a few months until we got got situated, and then we stayed.
At like an Oakwood kind of situation?
Exactly.
The Oakwood
on Woodman Avenue.
The famous Cokewood Apartments.
Oh my God, that place was so funny. Yeah, so we had been in LA before on the tours before that, and I stayed at the Riot House.
The Riot
most of the
House.
times. That was
You see Zeppelin there?
Yeah, I actually stayed there while they were there one time. It was a pain in the ass. Oh my God, the security! Yeah, it was.
Because they just take over floors.
Oh yeah, I had Bonham had.
Did you ever meet Bonham?
Did
you meet Bonham? Or?
No, I didn't meet any of the guys.
Okay.
I didn't meet him, but his floor was right above me, and he had the whole floor, and he had a piano in the room that was close to my room. And I was like 3 a.m.
Was he playing Boogie Woogie?
Some shit, yeah.
I heard he used to bring the kid up there, but you didn't hear that.
No, that I didn't hear. But yeah, I did experience that. I experienced a lot of stuff down in, staying at the Riot House.
You see TV sailing out the window?
No, but a girl jumped out one time.
When you were there?
So, yeah, committed suicide one time while I was there. Oh, it was not good. It was not good. But yeah, that was my LA experience. They took me to the Sunset Grill, a burger place, and Kyle Kite, all the famous Hollywood places and stuff like that. And I think the first studio I worked at was called Sound Labs. Armin Steiner's place. Yeah. "Hi, Mama. Look at that little doggy. She's so sweet. Did you go hiking?" "Yeah." Look at that. So, we all just came and moved to LA, and since then I've been here.
So we got to jump ahead, because I know, like, for you, a huge part of your story is Jeff Beccaro. How you doing there? How you doing there?
Say hello, Mama. What's this? Well, Jeff.
What kind of dog we got here by the listeners?
She is I think she's a Staffordshire Terrier.
Okay.
But she's.
I like what you said. I think.
Yeah, because you never know. We call her Staffordshire Terrier.
Where did you get her?
She actually adopted us. She used to live next door about 6 years ago. And then what happened was they had a dog, the people that used to live there. She just started coming over to us, coming over to our back door. She made 6 holes in that fence over there. She dug 6 holes to get to us.
She chose you.
Yes.
I love it.
She chose us.
And so
then,
they were like, all right.
Yeah, and then I took a trip to Australia with Stevie Nicks, and my wife was like, yeah, I'm going to take her for some walks and stuff like that. And I remember going to the airport going, we got a dog.
Yeah, you knew.
But what happened was I got back. It was a November trip. Got back the beginning of December. We repacked our bags to go to Barbados for a gig there. And when we got there, my wife was like, it was beautiful, or, paradise. I said, what's the matter? She says, I miss honey. So I bought some internet minutes from the hotel, and I emailed the people that had her. I said, we're going to take her. Because they had been like, you should take her. We already have a dog, So she became part of our family. It's the best thing to happen.
She lays down right by Lenny and just, see?
Look at that little dog. He's so cute.
That's where she wanted to be. All right, so so Jeff Porcaro. Now, how did that happen? When was the first?
We met on a Diana Ross recording session, the Baby It's Me album. Okay. Richard Perry producing at Studio 55.
Okay.
I remember when we first showed up for the session. Me and Lukather had gone there. We had met and we became friends. And he was on the session also. And I remember Jeff came in and he stopped and we both looked at each other and it's like, I know you, man. I've never met you before. I don't know what your name is, but I know who you are. We had a thing, a kismet.
You both felt that, right?
Yeah, we both felt that, that we knew each other. We knew each other.
And this is before you played a note.
And then we played and we locked and everything like that. And at the end of the gig, he came to me and Luke and he says, hey, Boz Scaggs looking for, you guys want a gig. Boz is looking for a percussionist and guitar player. Why don't you guys show up, so-and-so. So we showed up at me and Luke went to the...
Now, hold on. Just to be clear, this is pre-Toto?
Yes, pre-Toto.
So he's...
Silk Degrees had just come out and was running really heavy.
So in other words, this is interesting because not only was it like about Porcaro and Lenny Castro meeting in that beginning, you're saying Lukather.
Well, Luke, I met Luke, yeah.
But in a way, in other words,
that.
He helped Luke saying, hey, Boz Scaggs.
Yeah.
Both of you at
we
the
both,
same time.
We both went down and we thought it was an audition. I thought it was an audition. We went up, we set up, we played in a sound stage.
Hey. No, it's cool.
This
it's
is
all
my
good.
wife, Chia.
It's all good.
This is Dave.
Oh, wow.
She brought you some water.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, I just went to hike.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he hooked him up with Boz Scaggs.
So yeah, he hooked both of us up with Boz Scaggs. So we got there, and we played, and then Boz said great and left. So me and Luke are looking. What happened? He says, guys, you had the gig before you even got here. We just wanted to check you guys out.
Sure.
So we were we were all nervous about it. Oh, you want to move?
Because Porcaro vouched. You mean that kind of thing?
What Jeff? Anything that Jeff said or recommended, people took.
That's all it took.
Come here, Mama.
I was say I don't want to run into.
No, she's all right. Come here. Come. Yeah, I mean, if Jeff said, Jeff's word was gold. If he told you, yeah, this guy's great, use him.
That's all. Or
it took. If he said this track is great, this is the track.
Right.
All right. All you got to do is overdub. He would do things like he hated doing third takes, fourth takes. He hated doing anything more than 3 or 4 takes. He would say, yeah, drum part's there. Everybody overdub their shit. Come on, let's go to the bar. Let's go hang. And he'd be right. I'm sorry. The guy was like, yeah, your shit is right on the money. All they got to do is overdub the bass and overdub their parts, and the track is there.
How old was he when you met him?
Well, he is 3 years older than me.
So you're like what, 19?
Like 19, 20, maybe
so he's
like
just
that.
young 20s.
So he was like 23, 24.
And he's
maybe.
already the man.
Oh, he was so well established in the business. I was like
23 years old, and he was just the guy.
Yeah, man. I mean, I couldn't be any luckier than to get the blessings of a guy like that, because from that point on, he just wanted me to be on every track that he played on.
That's what I was getting at. So he really did that.
Yeah.
It's like he pulled some mafia shit and just said, you want me, you got to bring this.
He did. Oh, sometimes he would call me. I mean, I would be home getting ready to have dinner or just chilling. He says, "What are you doing?" I said, "No, I'm home getting ready to have dinner." Jump in the car and get a so-and-so studio right now. Bring some bongos or call your cartage company, tell them to meet us here. Or I got some shit, you just come down here and play. I'd jump in the car, get in the studio, and then I'd be on the session. You know? He was amazing. But like I said, people in the business, when he said something, they would like, producers, because he knew he had a real knack for music, for songs, not only the playing aspect, but the theory of composition. How sometimes, chorus, it's okay for a chorus to rise up metronomically, to just speed up a little bit and then bring it down. He would do these things. And this is before we had click tracks and before we had Pro Tools and any of that nonsense.
So he would push it for the chorus.
Oh, yeah. He knew what to do. He knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing. He had the knack. He had the natural ability to know where to do things and how to create excitement.
Did he always run the room, would you say? I mean, there was a producer, of course.
I would say so.
Yeah.
I would say so.
Like, there would be older cats in the room, but that didn't matter.
Oh, when Jeff was in there, Mr. Cool was there. It was like, oh, yeah. He was pretty much
tell me more about him. I mean, I always heard Mr. Cool. Like, he really...
he was his own man. He would love to, his one of his big idols was, of course, Jim Keltner. He loved to dress like Jim. He'd tear the sleeves off of his shirt, and he'd buy these fucking $1,000 shirts and be redesigning them by tearing off the sleeves and stuff like that, and wearing wristbands and wearing boots up to here. That was another thing about him. He would play drums wearing boots with heels. And I don't go, Jeff, doesn't that bother you? He said, no, it actually feels good. Wow. It never impeded him. It never got in his way.
Yeah.
It never got in his way, But he was Mr. Cool. He was Mr. Cool. He loved talking to younger musicians and inspiring them and giving them words of encouragement and stuff. He would always stop to talk to students and up-and-coming musicians. He'd always find time. Always find time. He always said, hey, I'm not going to be here forever. I got to give it back.
He knew, but I'm saying he knew that in his 20s. Like,
yeah. He was an old soul.
Yeah, I mean, there's no one you've never... I mean, you've been around. You've never seen anyone, even in that ballpark.
No. Guys like him and Carlos Vega, I got to put him in the same...
Carlos Vega, my man. Now, there's a guy that, like... Yeah, like... Let's talk about Carlos Vega for a minute. I mean...
I'm so blessed and lucky to have played with those two, just to name those two guys, to have been so close to them, not only personally, but musically. Me and Jeff created some serious grooves. We got into each other. Musically. And me and Carlos, we kind of went a little bit further than that because he was Cuban and I'm Puerto Rican, we spoke Spanish, and we were in a band called Charisma, which we used to have so much fun, man. I used to look forward to doing that gig, man, because me and him really went into a different realm when we played together. I mean, just close your eyes, and we were like, it was like free flight. I try to explain it to my wife sometimes. She always likes to know how I feel when I play, especially when I'm really enjoying. I'm in that zone, and it's hard to explain to somebody what that feels like.
Yeah.
I kind of. My way is kind of like you kick your head back, you close your eyes, and you're just flying musically through all these sounds and soundscapes and stuff. And it's you have time is your friend, and you have control of that time and everything. It's really deep, very deep. Carlos, we had a serious bond, especially when we did anything that we did together, we just locked and made. And he had such an incredible feel. his feel, especially when he did sambas or Latin music with songo. Man, it was fire. It was fire. Another guy like that, who was pretty close to also, is Alex Acuna.
Yeah.
We did Al Jarreau together, where he played
Yeah.
drums and I played percussion. And that was dangerous. Wow. Me and him together on the Al Jarreau gig. Man, we would I would actually feel like we were levitating, man. We get into some grooves and you just actually feel the whole stage just rise up into another level. It was incredible. But Carlos, man, always perfecting his technique. Used to go to a guy named Dick Wilson, a teacher, very famous. We call him the drum guru, and was always constantly perfecting his grip, changing his stick, and that he was always thinking about his drums and while he was doing it, how he was feeling. I used to kind of make fun of him. I said, "You still going for lessons, man? What the hell's wrong with you, bro? You should give lessons." Man. He says, "No, I gotta perfect my stuff and this and that." And I don't know. Okay. You go ahead, do your thing. I'm not gonna bust your chops anymore.
And you guys, you're saying, became tight as just off the field, so to speak.
Yeah.
We're talking at each other's homes, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
like,
he became godfather to my firstborn, and I became godfather to his first.
Got it.
To both his girls.
I mean, are you spending holidays together, that kind of thing?
Oh God, you kidding me? Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We were hanging out. Even me and him would hang out, just run around the city, go to see people play and make fun of them and stuff like that.
Sure.
We would go to this place called Josefina's where they would have jam night. Oh God, and we'd just sit at the bar or sit at a table, just tear people down. Look at this guy, he can't play. Get him out of here. We were horrible. But yeah, me and him were we had our own language. Our wives would look at us and go, "These guys are crazy."
Yeah.
But I miss him a lot. We were very close.
You were just tied up until the end there? I mean...
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Did you see that coming?
It was funny, though, because before the tragedy happened, I had a discussion with him, and he was not happy with the James Taylor gig. It was really... The music was depressing him. He had been doing it quite a long time. Certain people in the band were not listening to him, and he was getting really pissed off. And I told him, get those guys out of your monitor. Just listen to the bass player, who I think was Jimmy Johnson at that time. Just listen to Jimmy, listen to the bass, listen to James, and forget about everybody else. I mean, if they're gonna, but it was really bugging him, and I could tell that there was a few other things that were not, he was not very happy with. He was having these headaches that he couldn't understand where they were coming from, and he wasn't really sleeping very well too towards the end, and I think that's what really kind of opened up the door for like the manic depression, the depression to come in. He wasn't sleeping, he was getting these headaches he couldn't get rid of, and he was trying to drop smoking weed just cold turkey without any help. I don't know. I think they just, all those things kind of mounted up and kind of put him in a place where he just got depressed, and it was unfortunate.
I mean, but you had seen him depressed, in other words.
Well, I heard he wasn't happy about certain things. He was bummed out about some things, especially the headaches and the gig,
and you think there was some medical condition that just wasn't...
Well, eventually they did find something. He had, I think what they said was he had an overly inflamed pituitary gland. They really didn't catch it. He went to a lot of doctors,
and they just were baffled,
they
right?
They could never find it. From what I understand, but I miss him a lot. I miss him all the time. I just played at the Baked Potato last week with Mitch Foreman. And of course, I'm sitting at the bar and I'm thinking about Carlos. We used to hang there. Oh my God, that was like a home for us, the old Baked Potato, and that's where I also met Joe Sample, who was sitting in the chair that we actually used to hang out. There's so many great musicians, but Carlos, me and Carlos spent a lot of time at that Baked Potato.
It's like some listeners will know this. I mean, and I made more of a thing on like social media way back on like Twitter. I used to be like, there's no Wikipedia page for Carlos Vega, and that pisses me off.
There isn't?
No, and I'm saying it here like on this interview now, so people can hear this. I hope And I'm really shocked,
I
put it out there to people. I'm like, somebody
might
fucking
have
do
to
it.
do- I might have
like
to do
make
something.
the effing page.
I'm really
And
shocked.
someone, because no one's ever like, in other words, you can't really find like what exactly some of the stuff he's played on. And I give you an example.
There's
like
tons of stuff.
I know, and of course there's
the
great
GRP
examples on
stuff,
allmusic.com.
yeah.
But like, for example, like there's like the Grease soundtrack. This is just one
Yeah,
example.
yeah.
There's a few names on there, but no one really knows for sure what tracks, who, this kind of thing. So Carlos Vega, man, someone get on that. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm really shocked. I didn't know that, man. That kind of pisses me.
It's a crime.
That
is what
pisses
it is.
me off.
No, it pisses me off. It's a fucking crime.
I might have to look into that.
That there's no Wikipedia page for Carlos Vega. So
We'll have
let's
to
get
look
on
at
it.
it.
You know what I mean?
Look into that, folks.
I know. So Porcaro, you guys, so he gets you going in the biz. He insists you're there. Now that's pre Carlos Vega, right?
No, I knew Carlos at the time.
Okay.
I knew Carlos around that time.
But did they have equal pull, or would you say Porcaro had more pull?
Porcaro had more pull.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he was doing Sonny and Cher when he was 18 years old, doing the show and playing in her band and flying to Vegas to do gigs. I don't even know if he made his high school graduation because he was gigging so much.
Right.
I don't even know if he made it.
Right.
So
Porcaro was just the guy.
He was the man.
But then again, you said there was Keltner, so Keltner would be above pecking order.
There's Keltner, then Jerry Garrin.
What about Jim Gordon? Did you play with Jim Gordon?
I actually hung out with him. I did a tour. I think it was with Melissa, and he was with whoever the opening act was. Was it Neil Sedaka or I forgot who he was playing with? But I remember he was on the road with us, and I got to hang out with him a couple of times. He was hearing the voices at that time.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it was kind of creepy.
He was you knew this.
He was
letting you in.
He would tell you, man. Sometimes the bass player, when he plays things, he moves my hands, and he would say some really weird things. He's about voices and how somebody who he didn't like the way they played, that it would disturb him, and he would sit there at the bar with his coat on, buttoned to the top, and a glass of whatever soda, and just sit there, staring out.
Yeah, Lenny stone-faced. Yeah.
Oh man. I could see that he was a nice guy, but at that time, like I said, he was already hearing the voices.
So you knew that you were like, this guy's off. This guy's
he's not well. He was not well.
He was not a hip cat at that point.
He was somewhere else, man.
How was his playing?
His playing was great. His playing was still great.
Okay.
His playing was still great, but there was some other stuff happening there.
And it was clear as a bell to you.
He was an amazing drummer.
Well, yeah, I mean
his shuffles were him, Hodder, Garrin, Keltner. Their shuffles were part of how Jeff got his shuffle. He got, and plus Purdy, of course, Bernard Purdy. That was always one of his favorite guys. But he got a little bit from everybody.
And you hung,
and the older cats respected him.
Porcaro.
Yeah, they respected him a lot.
And you guys hung as well, right? You became tight. And,
Yeah, we used to hang out a lot.
Was there really time though? I mean, just seriously, because I asked that because I have this idea of Jeff, especially like always working. Was that the case? Or like it was like you said, days, now let's hit the bar.
Yeah, we would do 2 or 3 sessions a day, or one session, a whole session a day, and stuff like that, and maybe do something at night. But we were pretty busy. But there was a lot of hanging out going on. There was a lot of hanging out going on.
Was it like, I've heard that about Gad in New York, where he had like 3 different cartage guys. So for 3 sessions a day, 3 kits. Was it like that for you? Did you?
Well, almost. Yeah, for a while it did become like that.
Yeah.
It did become like that. My cartage company's always had a few setups for me, just in case I have to do a session and then I have to go on the road, so I have to have a road. But then I used to have 2 or 3 recording session setups for that same thing, for that same reason.
Morning session,
afternoon session,
and you just get yourself.
And you just walk right over there, or drive to the next studio. Yeah, man.
And would it be that way where you would be morning with Jeff, afternoon Jeff? Yeah. Again, it was just.
Or sometimes different guys. Maybe Harvey Mason would be in another session, or somebody else.
But he really got you started in that, and then the producers just got to know you, and it was like,
you know, they got to see me play and playing with him, and wow, Jeff says he's great. And,
he vouched for you. He got you in the
mob.
mob.
He vouched for a lot of cats.
He got you in the mob. I mean,
he did.
Yeah.
He vouched for a lot of cats, man. You know, that's the way he was. Mm-hmm. That's the way he was.
And you've said, I've read where you've said that you were grateful that they didn't pull you into Toto as a full-time thing. Like you.
Well, you know, that's... you know, Jeff always told me, you know, because I played with the band for a long time, since the very beginning. And I always thought I should have been part of the band, but you know, those are other logistics, other things. You know, I talked myself out of that. And Jeff, you know, he would tell me, man, you know, you be lucky. You know, you're not chained down to a record company. You're not chained down to this, to that. We're chained down to all these other things, and we can't go out like you do and play with Stevie Wonder and play with this guy. You don't answer to anybody. Mm-hmm. You know. Mm-hmm. Plus, you know, all the nonsense that goes on with Toto, you know, if we're in the red, you're in the red. You know, so maybe you should count your blessings that you're not in the band.
Were they in the red?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't think so. I don't think so. But that's not my business.
But you were always around.
I was always with them. I don't think I've missed, maybe I might have missed one album. I think maybe Luis Conte played on it, but I've been with them pretty much the entire time. Mm-hmm. The entire time. You know, as far as I'm concerned, I'm part of their unit. Yeah. I'm part of their sound.
Absolutely.
So, you know, as far as like the logistics of signing a contract or being a part of it is a moot situation to me. Mm-hmm. You know, because I know the guys love me, and I know where, you know, I know where our relationship is, mm-hmm. and signing something does not make our friendship. Mm-hmm. You know? And I think that's more important than anything else. You know. But we're working on a new album right now. That's fantastic. They're working on it. It's gonna have a lot of surprises.
That's with Carlock, or
no? Let's see. We have 5 tracks that the guys have found that were in a vault that have Jeff on them.
Get the fuck out! Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit! 5 tracks with Jeff.
Jeff on them. I think a few of them have Mike on them. I think Hungate. I haven't heard all of them yet, but there's going to be a lot of surprises on this album. A lot of great. It's going to be amazing. I've already worked. Well, those 5 tracks. The funny thing is, I'm already on those tracks because those tracks I recorded with Jeff.
Right.
I'm on those. I added the other day. I think last week I did some overdubs to add a couple other things to it, but it's going to be fantastic. It's going to be fantastic. Working on that now. Also working on a new Los Lobotomies album. Yesterday we got together and we got all our parts and put them all in the Pro Tools and stuff. It's going to be great too. And I'm also working on my own project, finally.
Good.
My own album. I've already put all the drums down. I got about 8 tracks. I put some bass. Johnny Pena put a couple of some bass on 2 tracks already. I got James Earl to do some stuff. There's going to be a lot of people on it. Nice. I'm playing all the drums. I
Kit, everything.
Yeah,
good.
Yeah, I was.
Good.
You know, it's so funny because I wrote a lot of these things on GarageBand. You know, when you program things, you write stuff on those kind of things. You have a tendency to like do things that you wouldn't really normally do physically. You know, drum parts that you wish you could play.
Right.
So there was a couple of tracks that were a little bit hairy as far as the drum parts go, and I'm going, I don't know if I can play these parts. I'm going to have to call Sonny Emery or Greg Bissonnet or Chad Wagwers or Vinny or somebody. So finally, you know, I stopped myself and I said, you know, I've said this to a lot of other artists, and I don't know why I'm saying it, why I'm not saying it to myself, and it was get away from the demo. Yeah. Because we live with the demo so much, you're just like, oh, and I can't get away from that. It's the part. No. So I just got in there and I made the drum parts me. I made them for me.
Right.
And they sound great. Wonderful. I went over to my buddy's house, Doug Bossy. He's got a great drum set there. And my engineer, Jordan Silva, got great sounds. It's going to be good. I'm really proud of it so far. So.
Do you play here at the house?
Yeah, I got a little studio. I
was just curious if you...
Yeah, I call it Onada Studios, which is Japanese for fart studios.
I like that. Onada.
Onada.
Fart.
Yes.
You spent time in Japan?
Yeah, I love Japan. Japan's my second.
But I mean,
home.
you've lived, and I mean,
I've spent a lot of. I was just there recently. Me and the wife were there.
I thought you speak a little, right? With your wife,
my
right?
wife is Japanese.
Did you learn with her or prior to her?
I was actually kind of sort of. It was a hobby, picking up some Japanese before I met her.
Okay.
But now my Japanese is getting much better.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can get by.
I get by. I have still a work in progress, but I do pretty good.
You could go into the drugstore and buy some shampoo and the whole thing. You could do all that.
Yeah, I could do that.
You could be.
Yeah. I take subway by myself, and ask for directions, or
You could hang out with David Lee Roth over there. He's spent a lot of time there.
Is he spending a lot of time there?
Getting tatted, getting a bodysuit. He might be done with that.
Oh,
but he was studying. Oh yeah, no, he's.
Why is he doing that? He's so much older now, man. That's like.
I guess. The answer is also why not?
I don't get
you know what I mean?
I don't get it.
The guy was an EMT in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Like after 10 years ago. Yeah. So he's lived a lot of lives, I guess.
Yeah.
But so you could live there though if you.
Yeah, I would love to.
Do you ever talk about that? Is that an idea?
My wife and I do talk about just eventually going there.
Yeah.
Right now we still have Honey, so we're talking after she's we've had our time with her, maybe thinking about going out there because nowadays, and not necessarily retirement. Retirement is not a thing for me. I'm going to bop till I drop. Mm-hmm. I may not work as much as I have, but nobody is these days. Everything has changed.
Yeah, so you're because I gather you were getting towards you can be anywhere these days.
Yeah.
Well, I can. Lenny Castro can. Yeah.
And if somebody wants me to go on the road, I just have to fly where they are. A lot of people do that.
Or send tracks.
Yeah.
People
send tracks.
You can record them anywhere.
Sure. It's a different age that we live in now.
Has it been a tough adjustment, or is it just happened so slowly that you?
No, I kind of saw it coming when the DX thing came in, and all those digital keyboards started coming out. I saw it coming. We all did, yeah. I was pretty much, with
we're going back to what year is it? That's 80s. We're talking.
Yeah, that's 80s.
And you said, oh, here we go.
Yeah, I saw. I met Roger Lynn, who made the Lynn machine. He was friends with David Page and all those guys. Yeah, thank you.
Page, right.
So I got to meet Roger, and it was so funny because Roger went off north to some retreat, hanging out with some guy named Raj Neech, and when he came back, he invented the Lynn machine. I'm just like, and all of a sudden, there were drum machines all over the place. Jeff wasn't crazy about them.
No.
I think he had a prototype, and eventually he got so sick of it. I watched him throw into his pool. I watched it sink to the bottom of the pool. I was like, Jeff, what are you doing, man? That's it. I hate that fucking machine. Drives me crazy. Oh, but people used it anyway. Randy Newman used to call it the devil's machine. Randy, what a card. But yeah, the digital era, I saw it coming. And it just was like whoosh. It just took over. Especially in the music business. It was not there, and then all of a sudden there.
Yeah.
But as far as the transition, I really didn't have much. I didn't have much problem with him. Just go along with the flow.
But was a lot of that because you were always been on the road, and that obviously helps, right? With the working factor. That
yeah. Of course.
The road.
Yeah, being on the road, makes some good cake on the road, depending on who you're working with.
But I mean, so if we were to back up again, so when you're starting out getting into the session scene via Picaro, did you ever have a sense of I like this, like in other words, being able to sleep in my own bed at night and just going to the office, or did you have a feeling of nah, man?
No, I was lucky to do both.
Right.
I was very, very lucky to do both because at that time, there were a lot of guys who wouldn't want to leave town because they had all the sessions. They wouldn't want to leave. And then there were the road guys who were on the road so much, they didn't have the connections at home.
Right.
So there were very few cats who could do both. And I was one of them. That I went on the road, and then when I was home, I did a lot of sessions. Plus, I have the luxury of people, waiting. If you want me, they could reschedule things. If I'm not going to be home in 2 weeks, they say, okay, we'll still be working on it, or we'll get you right before mix. I've done projects where I've overdubbed, and the track has gone from that studio to the next room to be mixed.
Right.
You know, so I have had that option and the luxury of being able to overdub and not be there all the time for the tracking dates, even though I love being at the tracking dates. And sometimes you can't. Sometimes the studio doesn't have enough isolation to record percussion, because you need to have that, isolation. It's not good to have drums and, there'll be a lot of bleed and leakage,
Depends who you're playing with too, no?
Yeah, that's
when
true.
you're playing with Picaro, I mean...
Yeah, but, guys really wanted things, really situated.
I would imagine you've gotten a lot of drummers over the years. They wanted that with you. Am I wrong? Like they wanted that experience. Like they wanted to be Jeff Porcaro and be like, "Come on, man, you and me, man." Right? And you're thinking like, "Yeah, but it doesn't work because you're not." Jeff Porcaro.
I have a way of getting into where a drummer is. Wherever his feel is,
you go to them.
I go to them. I say, okay, this is where you're sitting it. Is this where you sit? Is this where you put it? Is this how you lean or your licks? Or, everybody has a signature or a style of playing. And I just get into that. I got a talent for being able to listen to what's going on. Even guys like Mick Fleetwood. I mean, he's a bombastic drummer and not the greatest time in the world.
Really?
But
he moves around a lot.
Oh, he moves around. He moves around. God bless him. He's so. I mean, when he gets into the zone, he's in the zone. But it's hard for him to stay. There was one track I did for Stevie Nicks where he played drums, and the outro.
Yeah.
The vamp out. It's like this. It's up and down. And Steve's like, "You gonna be able to follow that?" I says, "Yeah, don't worry, I'll follow it. I can do it."
That's great because I always think of him as such a rock, I guess. And
he is.
You know what I mean? Like
he is a very powerful player when he's there. But he does shift. He shifts around, and he'll be the first one to admit it.
Right.
He's a lovely person. I love him to death.
I mean, they brought him in for Werewolves of London. That's it, right. That's him and McVie, right? That's the other guys couldn't get it, and they bring in them, and
he's got that certain feel, man. It's one of those natural things that he just has, because he's not an educated drummer. He's just a feel guy. He just started playing drums,
right? Almost a Levon Helm type of situation.
Oh my goodness, really?
Whoa. Whoa.
Stop talking.
That is
he's got to do things.
This is crazy hospitality.
Cheers, and
thank you so much. Lenny's wife just brought out bowls of pasta. This is amazing, folks.
Hey, manja.
So wait a minute. So Mick, you were on the road with Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, I did. I got to do the dance with them.
No. Who runs the show?
They all do.
Yeah.
Mick has Mick has his thing. And
is Mick like Big Daddy in a way, or not? It's not really like that.
They're not really Big Daddy.
Is Lindsey Buckingham running the show? Like, who's running the show?
To tell you the truth, I think Stevie runs the show. To tell you the truth,
yeah.
She's the one that runs the show, pretty much.
Interesting.
Yeah, but they're all funny. They all got incredible personalities. It's so great.
Well, I guess her you know best.
Yeah, I've worked with her the longest.
Right.
I worked with her for over about 25 years.
And that would have been, who was it? Was it Russ Kunkel?
Yeah, Kunkel was the one who gave me the initial call. He called me up. He was like, "Man, these 16 notes on edges 17 edges whatever are killing me. I need some help."
No, so here we are there for a moment. Edges 17.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Pete. If you don't know that, just put that.
I'm sure people know it.
They'll go, "Oh, that one." Now, give us some songs. I mean, Lenny Castro's played on so many damn hit songs. Like, what are some stuff that are you're just of the hits? Let's just for a moment.
I think one of the ones that I'm really proud of is "Ride Like the Wind."
Ride Like
Christopher
the Wind.
Cross. Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That was one of my favorites.
Michael McDonald on that.
I remember when that first came out. When I first heard it on the radio, it became a hit pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I was driving my car and I had my 2 kids, and it came on the radio. And hey, ladies and gentlemen, a big hit from Christopher Cole. And of course, the first thing is like da da da, and you hear the congas,
Yeah.
And then I was screaming at my kids, "It's Daddy! There's Daddy!" And they're looking. What do you mean there's Daddy? And I had to pull off the car because I was getting ready to crash. I pulled the car over and I turned it up. I said, "That's Daddy!" And the kids are listening. Rah! They start jumping up and down, and I was even jumping up and down. I was so proud of it.
So that's a really big moment.
Yeah,
that one.
Yeah, that's a big one. What was another one? Oh, there's the song "Fire." Pointer Sisters?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
my tambourine on that one. I played tambourine. It was like 30-something takes, and I'm just all night. It was one of those all-night sessions that went to like 3 in the morning.
Africa?
Oh, of course, yeah. Of course, Africa, Rosanna, those are,
all that stuff.
Favorites.
What about, what is there anything else that you feel like...
Oh, the stuff that I did with Carlos, Olivia Newton-John, Physical.
Oh, yeah, see? That's right. There you go.
Or another favorite is
Huge.
Sheena Easton. What was it? I did this bongo part. We called it the Psycho Bongo. Strut. Sheena Easton Strut. Was that Sheena Easton? Called Strut?
Give us a little bit. Just a little.
I think the Strut. I did a bongo part that was really bizarre on that one. I played on that hit. I think it was called Strut by Sheena Easton.
Now, see, that you also made me think, like, you must be in that position where you're going to hear something and you think, did I play on that?
Yeah, I've had those moments.
I bet.
I've had those moments.
I bet. You're like, it kind of sounds familiar.
It's funny, though, because I can tell my bells and my tambourine, I can recognize them.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I do recognize them. It's really funny. Most percussionists can recognize their gear, their bells. They're familiar with their gear and their sound.
So you can hear something, not quite remember it, but again...
But then there will be something that will remind either the sound of the gear or something that I play.
Gotcha.
A lick or something.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And you'll say, there, that's me.
Yes.
Who was the guy back then, in the early days, if they couldn't get Lenny Castro, who got the call?
God. Who were the guys that got that? Well, on the East Coast, there was Ralph McDonald. So out here...
There was nobody.
Well, there was...
If you couldn't get Lenny, you were shit out of luck.
Who was doing percussion? What? Well, there was Jerry Steinholtz. He was doing some conga stuff.
Jerry Steinholtz?
Yeah. Oh, gosh. King Harrison. I don't know if he was here. King Harrison. Crusher Bennett.
Crusher Bennett.
Yeah.
By the way, fantastic pasta. Shout out to the missus. Fantastic pasta.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks.
Yeah.
Lucky guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. She loves feeding people.
This is amazing.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you.
Did you make the sauce? Are you part of this?
This is her.
This is her thing. She just whipped it up.
Yeah.
See.
Yeah. We had some. She went hiking with some friends, so she came back and they're having lunch right now. So. But yeah, those are the guys.
Do you know Ray Cooper? I mean, are you like?
Never met Ray Cooper.
You never did, because you played all the Clapton stuff.
Yeah, I'm friends with guys like Davy Johnstone. I know Davy for a long time. Caleb Quaid, who used to be in Elton's band.
Right.
I've met a lot of the people from Elton, and in fact, I worked with Elton at one time, and I've met him a few times, but I've never ever met Ray Cooper.
Because he's in England, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, he's been. That's the way he usually does all of his work. You know?
Yeah.
I was a little bit got a bone to pick with him, man, because he I love him. He's a great guy. He does an incredible job, but. When Clapton did that movie Rush and the hit song Tears from Heaven, which became a hit, well, that's another one that I'm very, very proud of. I'll have to tell you the story behind that. But what happened was that version didn't win the Grammy. The unplugged version won the Grammy, and Ray played on it.
Right.
And I don't think Ray did a very good job. I was not happy with the way he approached the conga. It just didn't, it wasn't sensitive. And he's playing this one triangle going clang, da-da-da-da, clang. And it kind of broke my heart that he didn't take the time to really check out what I did.
Yeah.
Now, the thing was with that tune, we were doing the movie Rush. And at the end of the week, we were finished with all the music for it. And Eric comes to me and he says, listen, we got this one tune that is going to be the single. And we're just having a problem putting drums on it. And, the drums are not really sticking to it.
Like, in other words, like, was he trying it with Kit, are you saying?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. I think he tried it with a few different people.
Okay. Maybe so Ferroni at the time? I don't know if he was around.
I think maybe JR or... I don't know. It just wasn't locking with the song. I mean, it wasn't... It had nothing to do with them...
I think we can all see that now. Like, it's even hard to imagine it.
But so he says, "Listen, see what you could do with it." And he sat down and I listened to it, and I knew what the song was about. Man, I was like, "Whoa!"
Yo, that was fresh.
It was heavy. It's about his son.
No, I'm saying that had just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, man. So I listened to it, and I said, "Listen, we're gonna do this. We're gonna conga, shaker, some bells. I need 3 tracks, and this is what we're gonna do." And I did it. And then at the end of it, Clapton came up to me and gave me a big hug. He says, "You fixed it. Now we know what to do." And I think what they did was they might have left a hi-hat or a bass drum from whoever else that was there. But primarily it's the accordion, it's the guitar, it's him, and the percussion with, I think, maybe a little bit of... I'm not sure. I got to listen to it. But,
interesting.
But... what I did kind of gave him what he wanted, and I was very proud of that.
I was going to say, now that right there is one of your signature. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah. Now I'm very,
like what
very
you
proud
brought to it. Yeah.
Who knew? I mean, I was just and there was no real thought. I mean, I just listened to the song and felt, okay, this is what I can do to it. If you're not going to put any drums, and I'm going to put a little vibe on it with a conga, very simple, sensitive conga part. Not heavy-handed, just very, very simple. Very simple. With and goes with the breaks and stuff. And little accents with some bells. And maybe, I think I did a little shaker too, I think. If I remember correctly. But just very simple. They're very minimalistic. Just, enough to keep, to move it along. To fill up a little bit of space. Not too much, And it's
the proof is there.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I just wish Ray. I wish I would have been called for it. I mean, I hate to say anything bad.
You just didn't get the call for that.
I didn't get the call
because
Ray,
this goes back. Yeah, I know. I get it. It's frustrating. I get it.
It is. You work so hard on something, and
why
then somebody
did that win the effing Grammy?
Yeah.
I don't get that because that's not even the version that we hear on the radio. Still, in other words, like we hear that Layla. We hear that still, that acoustic version. They pull that one out.
Yeah.
But they don't pull out the unplugged originals. Tears of Heaven. They play the studio. Oh, thank God. So at least we get Lenny Castro. Yeah. Which, come on.
But I love Ray. He's
but you've won some Grammys, no?
I've 1 or 2 here and there.
Yeah, I was going to say, come on.
I don't have any. I mean, the one plaque that I have is a Grammy for, I think, Rosanna. But I've played on other things that have won Grammys and not received anything. That happens.
Yeah.
It's no big deal. Yeah. It's just,
the way it is.
Huh?
It's the way it is.
It's the way it is, It's like I don't have anything to prove to myself. I know I played on this stuff. I don't have to have tchotchkes to remind me of what I played on. I'm good.
Were there songs you played on that you knew right then that you said this is going to be? Do you know it or you don't know it? Like you were saying.
Most
before.
of the times I don't know it. I know I'm like what was that one song that I played? Adele's song on 20. What was it? 21. Right. I played on that album, and that one song. What's the name of that song?
Yeah, I know.
The hit that she had from it.
Wait, no.
She got the bass drum and. That to me was like, wow, this feels special.
You kind of knew.
I kind of knew there was something.
But
very
you didn't
special
know
about
how.
it.
Yeah.
I play on a lot of stuff that I think is great, and sometimes you never hear about it ever again.
That's what I mean. Does it go the other way where you're like this, and then it just...
And then it disappears. It's like, whatever happened to that? It was such a great thing. You never know what happens after you leave the studio, and record companies do their thing and discuss what they, think. I'm not privy to that nonsense. I don't know.
Yep. And you've just probably
I've
just
been
learned.
disappointed many times.
That's the thing. You got your hopes up, and then you learned. Get a little jaded. A little bit.
I've gone home and said, wow, it's going to be a great album. It's going to be a motherfucker. And you don't see it.
And then the opposite's true, where you think, you didn't think much of it.
And then all of a sudden it's like, man, it just blew up.
And you think, really? That? Right?
Yeah.
Has there been opportunities that you missed out on that you think about? Like you thought, they asked me and I couldn't because I was doing this, or...
Oh, yeah. I can't think of any right now, but...
It happened, though.
It does happen.
Like you were on the road or something. I don't know.
Yeah. That happens a lot.
Or you already committed to someone and they're like...
Sure. That happens quite a bit.
Yeah. Are there like unfulfilled gigs?
I always wanted to play with Miles Davis, of course. I almost had the opportunity too. There was a time when he was looking for a percussionist, and his nephew, Vince Wilburn, he sounded him. He says, "Hey man, Miles looking for a percussionist, man. Can you submit a cassette of some songs that you played on?"
What era are we looking at here?
Oh God, this was right before he passed away.
Oh, okay. So we're doing like Time After Time.
Yeah.
Era.
Yeah. And so I normally don't do. Somebody tells me, send me an audition tape. I'm like, what am I gonna put? There's a million things I can put down.
Put the radio on.
But for Miles, I figured let me pull a couple of things, and I pulled a couple of things. I forget what it was. No, Mama, it's not for you.
Because it's Miles.
Yeah. So I ran down to his place in Malibu and I delivered it, and then didn't hear anything.
Oh, that's right. He was in Malibu. Yeah.
I didn't hear anything, and then we had a little party at my house in the valley, and all of a sudden I heard one of my friends was, "Oh yeah, Miles got a percussion." I said, "What?" I said, "Who's playing percussion?" And he says, "Oh, his son." I'm like, "Oh man, really?" I wanted that gig so bad.
Nepotiz, folks.
Yeah, well.
The old nepotiz.
I know it's funny, though, because not too long after that, I went to do the North Sea Jazz Festival with Joe Sample. And Miles was playing, so me and Joe used to hang heavy. So me and Joe go over to where they're doing the gig. And, of course, Miles is up there, and I see his son. I listened for like a couple of minutes, and I was like, Joe... Not working.
Yeah.
Not working for me. I was not impressed.
You must just want to kill people when you hear like just bad percussion, right? It just makes you want to like...
It irks me a bit.
And it seems like it's the thing that's also like really easy to do. In other words, be bad. Like people just take it for granted.
I just don't understand. Some people just don't listen. Not only to what's going on around, but to what they're doing, and see if it fits. It's like, come on, use your brain.
Yeah.
Use your musicality.
Yeah.
Just because you're playing percussion doesn't mean that you can't be musical.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
I think whenever I play, either congas, I think in terms of not only rhythms, but melodies.
Yeah.
And stuff. I'm not only trying to stick with the drummer, I'm sticking with the bass player. See, that to me is the boiler room. That triangle right there, drums, percussion, and bass, that's the boiler room. That shit's got a lock. But I'm also listening to the guitar player. And I'm also listening to that. But that triangle's got to be solid.
So have you been there where you were mentioning about Carlos Vega talking like that? Where you've been there where you've been like, man, this ain't clicking because maybe the bass player, like, it's just not happening?
We've been in some situations like that. You got to just drag the guy with you, whoever it is. But most of the times, if a guy's going to play with us, like in a situation like that, they come up with the goods.
That's what I'm getting at.
You can't just go up there and do some half-ass bullshit.
This is what I'm getting
asking
at. Like,
for trouble.
When with the situations you're in, that's pretty rare.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're thinking this cat, he's not holding his. It's like, right?
We've been there.
It happens, but they they slip through the cracks.
You just kind of, okay, pull him along.
You carry him.
You carry him around. Okay, help him along. See if you can do something to bring them to your level.
Are there guys where they're like, quote, name kind of guys, and you think to yourself, really? This fucking guy is considered, you don't have to name it, but you know what I mean? Like that happens.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's some skaters around there. It's just somewhere, you know,
Right. And you think
skaters?
This guy really?
Yeah.
Like, how the hell does that? How do you get past security? Like no one.
Yeah, there's a lot of that around. But,
There's a lot of that.
There's a lot of that around.
Wow.
But everybody gets their chance. It's I'm not. I shouldn't be one to judge.
Yeah, you kind of should.
I kind of should.
You kind of should at your level. And by the way, I want to give a late shout out to Mario Caleri.
Oh, Mario! Hey, I love Mario.
Because it was the gig with Mario.
He owes me some salsa.
Well, there you go. It was you were doing a gig with Mario in Ventura, and that's and he was like, hey. Dave, Lenny, Dave, you guys. And we're going back. By the way, we're going back like
that was at the watermark, probably.
Yeah,
probably at the watermark.
And it's got to be going back like 3 or 4 years now. Too.
I miss playing.
It's taken that long to get this together.
We had a little band, me, him, and this kid named Choco.
Yeah,
Morazza, Chocoyotze. He plays the Mexican harp. We had a little band, a little thing that we used to do together. It was a lot of fun. Choco's an incredible musician.
Did you ever? Did Santana ever? Anything?
Oh, I know those guys. I knew Raul. I've known Santana through the ages, and a lot of the musicians that have been through there. Mm-hmm. Armando Peraza was my mentor.
Okay.
When it was funny though, because when I was with Toto, we did this giant concert here a long time ago. A Day on the Green, I think it was called. It was like a million different acts, rock and roll acts.
Sure.
And I remember we had to play both days, as a matter of fact.
Toto.
But we played one day, and I'm playing, and I think Santana was supposed to play after us, I think. But anyway, Armando was there, and I remember I'm on stage playing, and I look back, Armando's right behind me, watching me. I'm like, oh my God, you want to talk about unnerving, And I had met Armando before. He used to say hi and stuff like that.
So he was like your guy. He's a guy.
Yeah. Oh, you kidding me? As a kid, the first, what was that? There's a George Shearing album live that they did, where it was Emil Richards on vibes and him on percussion. I grew up listening to that man when I was like 3 years old.
Yeah.
So I followed him. So after the show, I went up to him and says, "Hey, Armando, man, how you doing?" He says, "Yeah, you're representing, man. That's good." He gave me confirmation that what I was doing was okay, was right. So I was like, wow, it was a big moment for me.
Yeah.
Big moment for me. But I've known quite a few of the guys in the band, in his bands,
Incarnations.
Yes. Raul, I'm so sad that Raul passed away. He was what a beast. He was a great one. Well, I love congueros, man. That are I come from the old style playing, Ray Barretto stuff like that. You got to play, you got to hit that drum, big sound, But and he was definitely one of those cats.
Yeah,
definitely one of those cats, man. I had a big fucking sound.
What about Tito Puente? Did you get to meet him?
Oh yeah, of course, because I grew up in that neighborhood.
That's what I'm saying.
My real father, Hector Castro, was a keyboard player in the Latin circuit, and he grew up we grew up in the same neighborhood, Spanish Harlem, with Tito and Willie Bobo and all those guys. And plus, like I said, my dad was a pianist in the business, so I got to meet Johnny Pacheco's and I got to play with all those, the Latin, Celia Cruz. I got to meet her through my dad. So I was pretty much very close to the Latin circuit, and I got to, of course, I got to meet Tito, hang out with him a few times.
But I mean, did it get to a point where you just thought like, yeah, he's he's a celebrity. He's as far as his playing or.
Well, there were other timbales. Well, he was a pioneer. In my respect.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah, he was definitely a pioneer, and as far as what I was talking about earlier, when the jazz and the Latin thing was being melded together, he was one of the cats that stepped up in that situation, and got into it. And not only did he play timbales, but he played mallets too. A lot of people don't know that he did play mallets on a lot of things. Mm-hmm. Also, he was a well-versed musician. very well-versed musician, and a funny guy, very funny guy. But like I said, I was exposed to all those guys. Eddie Palmieri. I knew all the Latin guys because it was part of my family. It was part of what I was brought up in. It's a lot of fun in the Latin circuit, but a lot of weird stuff went on. My dad eventually he stopped playing piano. Unfortunately, I think he got tired of all the nonsense in the music business.
Yeah,
he hasn't touched the piano since 1990 something. I think he stopped playing. Maybe before that.
Just stopped entirely.
I tried to get him to play piano once. His wife he has a piano in the house, and I think one Christmas we went over there, and his wife got the piano tuned up and everything in the hopes that he would play again, and he just looked, yeah, okay. And I don't know, I just maybe think, I think maybe he'll love it too much and want to go back. I don't know. But he was a great keyboard player, man. He was beastly. He was, he played some great stuff.
I mean, it's funny because I think about that sometimes, and you mentioned Miles. I mean, Miles went through that 5-year period, right?
Yeah.
He didn't touch the horn.
He didn't touch anything.
And you think, it does happen. You've seen it, I'm sure, with Latin. You've seen guys. Have you ever come close? I mean, have you ever gotten so bitter with the business or something where you thought I've
gotten pissed off at the business, but not enough to stop me from playing.
But did you get to the point where you were saying to yourself, you know what, it's not worth it. Like F this. I don't care about any of this business. I'll go play just for fun kind of thing. And not. You've been there.
Yeah,
he's nodding.
Sure.
Yeah. Just tired of all the other BS that comes
nonsense,
with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there a level when it comes to touring that you draw the line, like it has to be a certain way? And I'm talking hotels, planes.
After a while, I mean, when you're younger,
weekly rate,
when you're younger, you just want to go out on the road, and you'll Holiday Inn is fine, and this and that, and even Holiday Inns now are not too bad, they're not too shabby.
Sure,
it's got to be up to a certain level now.
Yeah.
No.
Do you do your own negotiating, or do you have someone else?
No, I do all my own. No, there's never ever been a manager or agent at any time in my career. It's always, directly
when
to me.
Stevie Nicks, that management, you deal directly with them.
Yeah, they deal directly.
This is how it is.
Anybody who has hired me has to deal directly with me. Nobody else. There are some musicians that have managers and they do that stuff, but I've never felt the need for that, and I don't want to be paying somebody else for something. I like to discuss my business with me.
Yes.
Especially if you're talking money. I want to be there. I don't want an in between guy. No. I like the direct contact. I like the direct approach anyway. The personal approach is, I think, a lot better anyway. In my book.
Where do you see it going? I mean, you talked about before about the business.
Gosh!
If you had to
Good question. I don't know where this business is going to go now. It's so funny because recently Stevie Nicks, she did an interview where she says, she's not going to record anything anymore because it's like, who's buying the albums? Nobody's buying albums anymore. Where's the audience? She says, all the money is in live performance now. Huh? Oh, okay. I'm getting ready to do my album. I'm doing it right now, and I'm wondering who's going to be listening to it. I mean, it's going to be up for sale and it's going to be streamed, and I'm probably going to do the iTunes thing. I'm probably going to do iCore, which will put it out. Into a couple of different situations, because I have no record company and I haven't had anybody approach me. And at this point right now, I don't think I need them. What do I need them for? I'm doing my own shit. I've got the studios, I've got the musicians. The only thing that I would probably need maybe is distribution, to get it out. But TuneCore does that, and I'll eventually have to press some CDs for sale at gigs and stuff like that. you know. But that's a good question. Where is this business going at this point? I don't know.
Nobody seems to know.
It's so bizarre, you know. Musicians are still getting together and still playing, you know, like guys like the Los Lobotomies guys. We still playing straight music, real music, good music. At least we think so. We have a little bit of a following. We'll see what happens, you know. You gotta keep on playing though. Gotta keep on playing and putting out stuff and writing and, you know. But as far as where the business is going at this point, I have no idea. You know.
Yeah.
I'm so far removed from the Beyoncés and the whole lot. Right. To me, that's not even a music world. It's more of fashion and other things.
Right.
Musically, it's very atrophy in my book. You know, I don't know. The pop scene is not what it used to be. Pop scene used to be really cool.
I saw.
There used to be some really great
I did
stuff.
see your credits, and by the way, just to throw it out there, on allmusic.com, it says when you look up Lenny Castro, you go up the top, it'll be like 1 through like 1,300, and like. This guy's got over like 1,300 credits. That's and by the way, that's just what's on All Music. We all know how many they miss a lot.
Well, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't go through the union and stuff,
that's
you know, and that kind of thing. Yeah,
we're talking Lou Gehrig numbers here. Okay, over 2,000. Like, right. Yeah. Iron Horse over here. Right?
Exactly.
But I noticed a recent name I saw was Ed Sheeran. Now I can't even. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah.
Like I don't know it, but what I do know is his name is everywhere, and he's considered like this huge. And so it's like you're still playing with the top dogs.
I know. Well, you know, Rick
like there's
Rubin,
an example though. When you heard it? Did you think like much of it, or were you like?
I was like, oh, it's just I knew of the kid. I knew of him. I knew of him, and I knew he was one of those, you know, kind of. You know, that he could just be up there by himself with a guitar. That he was very, very.
Okay.
That he could do that.
Okay.
That he was proficient in that kind of thing.
So you did know that. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
So I knew it was him. I was surprised because it was just him, his guitar, and I just added some percussion, some shaker, and I think it got put out like that. I'm not sure.
See, I don't even know.
They didn't even put a band behind. There was no band. It was just basically him, and I added.
See, he's considered like right now, and you see what I mean?
I've been collecting some, still collecting money from that album. The mechanicals, when it gets played, you know, I still get a little piece.
Interesting.
You know, it's doing quite good.
Interesting.
I don't know.
And this was via Rick Rubin.
I think it was one of Rick Rubin's. He has a whole stable of producers and engineers that he kind of put stuff off. So I forget who the guy was. But it was a Rick Rubin's production.
Nice to be in Rick Rubin's stable.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's great. I dig Rick. He's an amazing guy, man. I'm so impressed by the things that he does. You know, and I have a great rapport with him. I haven't worked with him that much. You know, producers go through phases.
But hold on, isn't it also because of?
But I did a lot. I did a lot of work with him. I did LL Cool J. I did the Avid Brothers. I've done quite a. He put me on a lot of great stuff. The girl I was just talking about.
Band, no, not band.
The girl from Manchester, England, that we were just talking about that I played on. Oh, Jesus. Anyway. Brain fart.
I don't know. You got me. I don't even know. That's good though. Someone else will know. They're listening. Like, you idiots. It's like, yeah, that's right. That's right. We didn't even burn one before the interview.
But yeah, right. But Rick has gotten me on some really great things, and my rapport with him is to the point where he doesn't even show up when he calls me for overdubs. He doesn't even show up. He leaves me notes.
He does that with everyone. I heard.
Yeah, well, when he really trusts you, he, you know, as far as overdub goes.
Yeah.
You know, he used to be there, and when I first started working with him, he would be there, and we would work together. So I got to know him, and then he got to know me, and then after a while, it's like, you just leave me notes. You know what I want, this verse here, blah, 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 and I just come in and take care of business. Talk to him afterwards. He says, okay, great. It's great. Love you. Thanks.
Yeah.
He's an amazing guy. He's really, I'm very impressed.
Who are the guys? Like Don Was, right? He's another big
I love Don Was.
Like,
I'm getting ready to work with him next week.
Really?
On some project, yeah, something that he's working on. He's great. I love him to death. He's so mellow. That cat, man. But he's a real musicologist. Mm-hmm. He knows about some R&B, and he knows his shit.
Yeah.
very well. I love his aura, his whole feel. His sessions are so easy, just lay back, Great cat.
Do you know of any the young guys do you see guys where you think kind of reminds me of myself, or doesn't exist?
No, not that much.
Doesn't exist.
Doesn't really exist.
There is
anymore.
no young Lenny Castro on the scene.
Not that I know of.
No.
Not that I know of. Maybe there's somebody hidden back there, but not really. Not really.
Right?
There's some other. Yeah, I mean, as far as
he's like
talking about
almost
Lenny Castro. There were some other kids, some up and coming Cuban percussionists. There's just one kid, Denny Rodriguez, that I just turned on to a gig, and he's doing, what was it, the Isley Brothers or something like that?
Isley Brothers, yeah.
I'm not sure what it was, but I turned him on to a gig, and he's hopefully he's keeping himself pretty busy. But I don't see a lot of guys doing what I do.
No,
not a lot of cats. I mean, there's
Is it a dying art form? I mean, what's the answer to that?
I don't know. Well, there's guys like Ray Islas and Gajate Garcia, who are percussionists who are in town that do work, do stuff. I'm not the only cat out here doing it. But I know, of course, Luis Conte. I'm not sure what Paulinho's doing these days. I don't hear about him so much, so I'm not sure what he's up to.
I meant like young guys, like 18, 19, 20.
Not really, not that much.
Yeah.
That's funny you should mention that, because I can't.
Where are they?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it is. I hope it's not a dying craft.
That's what I'm saying. What's the deal there? I don't know.
There are a few cats. What's that? There is one guy. What the name is? There's this young bad snarky puppy. Right. The guy who plays percussion there. He's pretty cool. I've been checking him out. He's got some shit happening.
Okay.
He's up and coming.
Yeah.
I forget his name, but I've checked him out. I'm hoping to do some work with those kids. They're really great. I got a friend of mine who's trying to hook me up and playing with them. They're so busy. Those guys.
This goes back to what I was saying, like guys that unfulfilled, just like people that. Because I'm sure you've had some, even with the big names, where like I said, it just didn't pan out. Maybe that you couldn't do it. You were already pre-booked. Like,
yeah, a lot of that happens.
Yeah,
you can't be in. You can only do so much.
Yeah,
it's nice to be in demand. But
Ringo or something like that. I mean, did you have I don't know, any ex-Beatles or? Someone, I don't know. You mentioned the James Gang. Joe Walsh ever reach out? Was there any?
I've worked with Joe and worked with the Eagles with Joe. I've worked on some of his solo stuff. Jesus, something that I missed.
Did you tell Joe that?
Oh, you know what? I missed that I was really pissed off about. You remember the movie Arthur?
Yeah, of course. Christopher Cross again?
Christopher Cross again. I got called for that session for the title cut.
When you get caught between the
I was not available, and Paulinho took that gig. I was so bummed because I loved that movie.
Yeah.
And of course, I loved playing with Chris, so that was one that I missed because I wasn't in town.
Yeah.
But there's always stuff. There's always things like that. You can't do it all.
No.
There's always going to be something you got to miss, unfortunately.
Can you give us a Jeff Porcaro story that maybe you haven't shared?
Oh no,
is that a possibility? Can you dig in your pocket and pull one out?
I don't know if I can come up with one right away. There's
you need a moment.
So many stories.
I put you on the spot. I know. Maybe one that's just it makes you think of them and.
Oh, I know. Oh, I remember. We were on stage with Boss Gags. And the last New York blackout, where New York went.
Are we talking like Son of Sam as summer, like
around that time? Yeah, we were playing like Lincoln Center.
The famous blackout in the summer.
Yeah. We were on stage when that happened. It was funny because me and Jeff were playing, and we're into the third or fourth song into the set, and we had two keyboard players, Jay Winding, Steve Porcaro, and they both had organs, Hammond organs. And what happens is with the Hammond organ, it does when the power starts going, it doesn't shut off. It just goes. Ee. So what was happening was there was a brownout first, and so I can see both of them kind of panicking and pointing to this and pointing to the having trouble with their gear. And then all of a sudden, the lights just kind of dimmed just a smidge, and all of a sudden, completely out. And me and Jeff are the only ones playing. We're still playing, hoping that Jeff says, keep going. Okay. And then finally says, okay, let's get out of here. On one. And then finally, the crew guys come out with flashlights, and he says, I had to get out of there, man, before they started screaming for a drum solo. So we got out. They took us, they put us in a limo, and we got back to the hotel. Oh, my God, the city was going crazy. Yeah. We spent the whole evening. I spent the evening in his room because he was on the 9th floor, and I was way up top. So I spent, we got drunk in his room, opened up all the windows, and watched the city go crazy.
Nice.
It was insane.
See, that's a great memory. You sat with Jeff Porcaro watching New York City in the blackout.
And it was like, let's get out of here before they... Because he hated drum solos. That was the thing with Jeff.
Yeah.
Jeff did not like doing drum solos. And even other people's drum solos, a lot of guys they didn't make any sense to him. Really didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't like playing odd times, and he didn't like playing Latin stuff because he felt he was inadequate in it. And which was wrong. He was great at all of it. He could do it. He just was like, it's for somebody else to do.
Yeah, I mean, Lukather told me that I said he never did a drum solo, and Lukather said, I heard him do it. I heard him we've heard him do it. He meant like coming to the studio, he would like sit outside and just not.
Yeah,
he just would listen.
Yeah.
You could say the same thing?
You can hear him, working out.
You heard Jeff do?
Sure. Many times in the studio or at rehearsals, just before people come in, he's doing his thing.
So you're like one of the select few guys who
have actually heard him
and it was just...
It was fine to me, He thought it was kind of an abstract concept.
Never
Soloing is a difficult thing. It's not... Yeah. Especially for drums and percussion, because we don't deal with notes and chords and stuff like that. Yeah. We have to make sense of these rhythms and kind of make the drums sing in their own way, So to him, drum solos, were just, some guys would just sit there and go, okay, I learned this. Mm-hmm. Kind of just regurgitating licks and things that they've learned, and not really kind of trying to form ideas with it, like write a letter. To me, soloing is like writing a letter. You got your beginning, your body, and the exit, and it's got to make some kind of sense somehow.
So when you do a solo, like I was on YouTube, you can check it out, like when you do Stevie Nicks, let's say it's you and Jimmy Paxson.
Yeah.
Is that something that you break balls on? Are you like, Jimmy, we gotta tell a story here, or is it?
No.
Are you literally just seat of your pants?
Seat of your pants, whatever's there at that moment.
So it's not
nothing preconceived.
You don't do that. You're not.
We'll do an outline of structurally what we want to do. I go first, you do this, Okay. And then we go out together and we'll stop with that kind of thing.
Okay.
We fill in the blanks though.
Gotcha.
It's nothing preconceived as far as what we're playing.
I got you.
That don't work to me. You got to go there with a fresh head. Yeah, anything preconceived is kind of boring as far as I'm concerned. It's kind of just regurgitating stuff. It really has no meaning to me.
I love the visual of you and Jeff Porcaro in the blackout looking out. That's awesome. Lenny, listen, man, thank you so much for having me over today.
Thank you for coming,
great.
man. It's been a real pleasure having you here.
And
thanks for having me. Thanks for asking me.
No.
Anytime.
Stop eating them damn onion rings.
What? Do it.